I'm Bro. Oh, God damn it. Hi. You know what you're doing. Hi, welcome to the Footy. My name's Broden. How are you, folks? Have we garnered an audience already? Let me look and see.
Yeah, several hundred.
Oh, g'day.
Several hundred.
That's so lovely.
143.
Well,
Hello,
that's
all
one.
143 of you. 144 because I assume my mum and dad are watching together.
Well, yes, I imagine everyone, whenever I see one viewer, I'm like, this is a family of four.
Of course.
Just sitting around like it's the 50s with one TV.
We used to watch Simpsons, 6 p.m.
Yeah. Yep. Were they 6? Yeah. And then Neighbours 6:30. And then a new episode of The Simpsons at 7.
Yeah, probably.
Broden being rested by Collingwood this week. Very likely. We've got cows with cash in them like Geelong. Maybe a salmon farm. There's a whole discourse going on here that I have no connection to. I've just, just rolled my way in and I have no idea what they're talking about. How are you all doing? Are you well?
Thanks to Richo for dropping the 5 in the chat. Thanks, Richo.
Thanks, Richo. Moneybags Richo, I call him.
Thanks, Moneybags.
I feel like Richo wasn't there last week. It must have been his first stream.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not 100%, but I remember being like, no, Richo.
Marnie's mum says hello.
Oh,
Greg says that, yeah.
thanks, Mum
New
and Dad.
Broden clear. I don't know what that means. Missy Higgins, if you're here again, shout out the Higginator. Missy Higgins. I've unbanned Missy Higgins. Broden just came from set filming a new Snowtown miniseries.
You'd love
I wish. Snowtown 2. Broden looking like he's ready to talk footy on 3AW. Broden's arms are seconds away from tearing those sleeves. Distinguished bro. Missy Higgins interview. Yeah. Hey, Missy, you tuned into a TikTok for 48 seconds once. We'd love to have you on to discuss your Sound of White album. Is Broden all
She
right?
might be a massive footy fan. You don't know.
I would guess not.
She might be.
It might very well be.
She played the AFLW Grand Final already.
She played the AFLW Grand Final once. I'm just relaying what Paddy said.
Yeah. Which one?
Recently. Do you know what was cool the other day with the netball?
They had Robert Irwin deliver the ball. So.
Delta Goodrum did something the other day and then all the netballs like, whoa.
Yeah, but they were more excited about Robert Irwin being there.
Well, because everyone's got the horn for Robert Irwin, don't they? Sexy Robert Irwin. He's in his Brat era. Why did Charlie scratch out Brat? Are you across this?
Maybe Brat era's over.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, she changed the album cover. Have you seen this? You heard about this? Have you seen this? You heard about this?
Yeah.
Why is she? We don't know why, do we?
Because she's cool and groovy.
Yeah.
And what do we think of Lord back?
A bit. And I wish I cared. Maybe I will. Maybe I will care more.
Is there
later.
a new Lord single or something?
Yeah, Lord's releasing a new album.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And
But
it's
even
back to
like-
her old days stuff.
when she performed as well, even with like I was singing, was working out on the remix at Coachella. I was a bit like, okay,
Is it a Jack
and I
Antonoff
wish I
sort of thing?
cared.
I don't know what Jack Antonoff is.
That's the one who produced from New Zealand, who produced a fair or something. They went on to
I
do
think she's gone.
Taylor and everyone else.
I thought it could be her going back to her roots, or it could be her doing a Katy Perry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I tried something, didn't work. Back I go.
Because I quite liked her solo album, to be honest. I know it wasn't as successful as her earlier stuff. but I
solo
quite liked
album?
her.
Ooh,
Solo
somebody's
power.
asking what's in Tom's pocket.
Yeah, come on.
That is
just Marnie's
Marnie
super-
Vinyl's super information.
Hello, Marnie.
Don't dox Marnie.
As if. I would never.
A letter from the ATO
I'm
to
a
me, and I was like, I don't know how to deal with this.
That's right, Paddy.
Gave it to Dad.
Paddy, I'm part of the Shield.
What?
It is odd,
wrestling
isn't
thing.
it?
Yeah, it is odd. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand. Are you getting paid your super? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
This is the energy
We're
is
just gonna do some admin.
the energy is through the
Bloody
roof here.
Getting Marnie her super is fucking impossible these days, mate.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, who is with Seth Rollins now, Seth freaking Rollins and Becky Lynch. They're called the Triad of terror or something. Anyway, shall we do this?
Yeah, I'm ready when
Oh,
you
I thought that for a second I was like, I don't know any of these references.
Would you like to bounce the pill today?
Yeah, okay. Should I just?
It's not even in shot. Joke's on you.
Did you do
I
that?
did. No, Broden gave it to me.
He puts heaps of little fun things in there. He's got the little Carlton bobblehead in there that just comes
Mimi
into
Hill.
frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very clever. He thinks no one notices, but I do.
Thanks, Dad.
I notice,
Notice your
work,
little
mate.
strawberry teapot, mate. Don't worry.
That's
All right, so let's do this thing. What, round 9?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know.
Round 9's here, and I'm mad. It's time to take a pill and...
Bounce it.
Yeah. Fuck you, man. Hello and welcome to the Footy Round 9 preview. It's May 8. May the 8th be with you. And happy Star Wars Day. May the 8th be with you. Once I took Tom to Star Wars Land at Disney. He saw the Millennium Falcon. Did not care.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a big Star Wars guy too, but I don't care for these things.
Oh, fair enough.
He loves sitting at home, reading his Bible and eating dolmades. I've always said that about Tom.
Very close.
I'm also joined by Quail award-winning, I don't know what happened to me there, journalist. You know them from their groundbreaking articles for the ABC, from their obsessive love of Doctor Who, their drinking a drink of nice mineral water. It's Marnie Vinyl.
Hello.
Can I say something? Can I be very candid with you?
Of course.
And you and Patty in the corner? I was looking at our numbers the other day. And firstly, business is good. And secondly, these shows are
Really?
going up.
What, more than Wacky Wednesday?
Last
More
year,
than Wacky Willy Wednesday?
Wacky Wednesday Willie's
My
dropping off
favourite
hard.
podcast. Well, I wonder why.
Do not buy stocks in Wacky Willy Wednesday. I'm telling you right now. But last year, the wrap ups, you know, were the strongest episode of the week. This week, they're here for the Marns, the Marninator.
That's very sweet. Thank you, all of our listeners.
They stand the man, Marn. They stand the Marn.
I quite like that.
And so it's great. How's your week been so far? Ups and downs and anywhere in between?
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah.
That's the way. And you?
What?
How are you?
Oh, good. I've started doing yoga every day. Thanks for asking.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
great. In
And
your
God,
home
it's
or
difficult and it hurts. Yeah, I've got a YouTube lady.
who?
I'm not sure what her name is, but she has many videos and it's just
Logan Paul.
30-day yoga classes and stuff, and you do 15 minutes a day with her. She's great.
Yoga's really hard.
Can I tell
really
you
difficult.
some footage I've seen in the last week?
Is it Tom doing yoga?
Not just Tom doing yoga.
Okay.
Tom in his undies with doing yoga.
Why?
And you got to tell the funniest bit about these
Well,
videos.
yeah. So Atlas, his firstborn, is what, 3 now?
Nah, 2.5. But close.
Where's the time go? But Atlas will copy what he's doing, but then also will crawl, like when he's doing downward dog, will crawl on his back and just like clearly just thinks, my father's doing something important, I'm going to ruin it for him.
And
it's
he gives
good
me nipple cripples
Oh my
when
god.
I'm in downward dog.
That's horrible.
No one taught me how to do that. I don't know why he does.
Yeah, he never cripples him. So I've seen this footage.
That does sound like funny footage.
Yeah, it is.
It was, no. So you're doing that every day, Tom?
Yeah, and
you-
at night as well. But my doctor told me too much yoga.
You're doing too much yoga.
Yeah, I said morning and night's too much. Just do morning.
Do you ever go in and get like the little add-ons and weigh it?
No, no, I do not yo chi, bro. not even giving that a pass.
You're both laughing though, so what can I say?
Yeah.
Marnie,
Yeah.
you're a league fan.
I am.
I went to Penrith on Saturday.
I did get a DM from someone actually saying, can you drag Broder for not knowing where Penrith was?
I didn't. I didn't realise it was in Alice Springs.
It's not. I used to live in Parramatta. I used to
didn't-
live right next to Penrith.
I didn't
Kind of,
realise
not really.
the story of Priscilla was with the drag queens driving from Sydney to Penrith.
Is it
Yeah,
really?
it's why that I think. I mean, I love GWS branding. But I do think that they have shot themselves in the foot a little bit by being Greater Western Sydney, because Greater Western Sydney is already overrun by league.
Now, and
Like, it's Panther Town, as you said.
I drove out of Sydney, and as you're leaving Sydney, like 10 minutes out of the CBD, you see Giant Stadium, and then you drive for another 3 days and you hit Penrith, and you're like, well, this is Western Sydney.
When I was living in Bathurst, we used to do our Christmas shopping in Penrith. We used to have like a day. We'd make the 3-hour drive up to Penrith, do our Christmas shopping.
Wow. To
Hell.
Panthers.
Yep.
The place
We
is
used to go to the NRL store.
Yeah, gee. Yeah, because it's the shopping centre's called Panthers. I can't get over it, and I never will. Shall we crack into news?
Yeah.
Let's do news. Well, that's exciting news time, Marnie. Shall we crack in?
Yeah. I had a bit of a chaotic day, and so I've just written a lot of dot points.
Don't
and
worry.
I thought it would make more sense when I looked at it. But, I mean, even here I've just got Richmond v West Coast with the love heart around it. So who knows how this news is going to go. But let's start with the AFLW season opener has been announced. So we still don't have a fixture, even though pre-season starts next week officially with the new inductees coming in. But the season opener will be August 14th, so that's round 23 of the men's. So the men's won't have any footy on the Thursday night to give the women's game clean air.
Ooh.
They've moved it forward from that pre-season bye because there's going to be now 12 rounds in the AFLW season. We love that. It's going to be Carlton-Collingwood, which has had a very mixed reaction.
The traditional opener, yeah?
Well, it is the traditional opener because it was the very first one. So it was the 2017 inaugural opener, that iconic lockout, 24,000 people at Princes Park. Amazing. But there's an argument that, well, Melbourne Bulldogs were actually the first pioneers, and they should be honoured. And then Collingwood, I mean, they won 1 game last year, and Carlton won 4 games last year. And if this is the game that you're going to have the most eyes on to start the season, and we know that AFLW is kind of struggling in the public sphere for legitimacy, in men's spaces that the AFL are trying to crack into, would you not then put on the best spectacle that you could? Why don't you just make tradition around making it the grand final rematch or something like that? There is some people that obviously do like the romance element of, okay, well, let's do what we did before. Paddy's given me a thumbs up. He's all keen for that idea.
There's years when Carlton and Richmond both suck as well, and
100%. Yes, I don't agree with the argument of they're uncompetitive, so don't put it on. But I do agree with the argument that don't force men's rivalries in the women's space when the women's space is already developing their own organic rivalries that have genuine venom.
Please.
And spite there. Like, there are some teams that I'm love to see go head to head more than.
Please tell me, what do you think's the best rivalry in the W?
Oh, I mean, Brisbane, Hawthorn is one. That
I remember that got very angry last year. I remember all the details of that.
And then there's some rivalries that there's just been so many teams that have had so many players switch between them. And because you've got the added factor in AFLW of a lot of interpersonal relationships within the league.
Sure.
So it just adds, and it's just the fans know this. And the fans get so excited about W, and then they just I just constantly see them feel so disheartened and disappointed when the AFL bring out news that feels like they're not actually listening to what the fans are telling them. And I sympathise and I empathise with that.
Do you think there should be
so much.
A separate head of AFLW?
100%. Because even just someone was I was chatting to someone online who is a big NRLW watcher, saying just like comparing the two and the NRLW feeling like its own product and even like their women's state of origin popping off, and it feels like they've done such a good job of it being its own separate product, where the AFLW, even in announcing the season opener, it has to fit in around the men's game, and I just don't see it being long-term successful if it just constantly has to fit in around the men's game and just constantly try and pull men's fans over. When we saw with the Matildas and the Women's World Cup, people that like women's footy are different.
Yeah.
Like, some like both, but there's a massive group of people who like women's footy, then you should be targeting them.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, if you go to an AFLW game and walk around, it looks very different atmospheric wise, and the people that you meet are very different to a men's game. Stop targeting
Yes,
people.
yeah, they've started to build out the narratives and double down on the narratives. We found that with Donna as well, is start to engage with what the fans want as opposed to just sort of setting what you do and being reactive is, I think, reactive is the right way to go about building something for sure. Also, we're 10 years in now.
Yes, it's the 10th season.
Yeah.
But it's not 10 years because they had 2 seasons in 1 year.
Which year was that?
2022. The year Essendon, Hawthorn and Sydney and Port Adelaide came in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I do feel a little bit like, okay, so now it's the season opener and there's all of this kind of negativity, which is like fair and like there's so much love for between AFLW fans and women's footy. But I am personally just trying to also just be like so excited. We're 99 days away. That's exciting.
Yeah. Sarah Burt stole from me. Well, us. Sarah Burt, a reporter in AFLW and other sports as well. But we once did the TikTok where it's the Real Housewives or something and going, okay, you missed us. We're back.
No,
we
okay,
invented
guys,
that.
we're back. Did you miss us?
We invented that, yeah?
Yeah, we invented that from Kim Kardashian.
Everyone
Kim
steals
Kardashian?
from us.
I don't even know. It might be Love Island. Who knows? Everyone steals from us.
I'll get Greg in to deal with it, sort it out. Don't worry. That's exciting. That is exciting. August is still a long time away. Are they starting pre-season now?
Yeah, without a fixture, which is also just like,
where'd that fixture at?
Like the NRLW person was just like, yeah, we knew our fixture back in November. I was like, well, that's nice.
Cool.
That is cool. Like that is genuinely cool. It's really cool watching league, like women's footy league pop off.
Paddy's calling it. Paddy's a commentator. He's calling VFLW this weekend.
That's exciting.
So keep an ear out for him. On what app?
It's on the AFL website.
AFL website. Unavailable on the app. Got to go through.
Might be.
We'll see. Okay, great. What else is on?
Oh, I also wrote one of my favorite Essendon players will not be playing this year because Bess Keeney is having a baby. She's pregnant.
Cool. So that's a season. So in the section it goes, season. Baby. Yeah. Not
well, actually,
calf,
baby
hamstring, baby.
Should we do a quick explainer on the Willie Rioli situation, given that it is probably the biggest news story circulating within the AFL media space?
Sure. Can I do one quick thing, one quick correction? Sophie Welsh is saying it's available on the app.
Thank you for watching, Sophie Welsh.
Yes. Anyway, please.
Okay, so it was alleged that Willie Rioli threatened Bulldogs Bailey Dale following Port's loss in Ballarat. So that was in round 8. And that alleged threat suggested via a Dogs teammate that Dale should tread carefully when the Bulldogs play in Darwin in round 9 because Rioli had friends that lived there. So that was reported on and the AFL waved that through with handing no punishment down.
Where did he say it?
Text.
I texted. Wow.
To a teammate of Bailey Dale's.
That's full on.
Yeah. And it reported that all parties just worked it out between themselves. The clubs worked it out between themselves. And then on Tuesday night, The Age reported that last year it was alleged that he also threatened a Geelong player during a game, so that was on field. The Geelong player was quite distressed, but didn't, and Geelong, like the club, knew about it. Port Adelaide, the club, knew about it, but they decided not to take it to the AFL because the Geelong player did not want it to be public and didn't want a story made out of it. Also that night, Tom Morris reported on Footy Classified that an Essendon player this year was threatened during a game, allegedly threatened during the game. And Essendon coach Brad Scott had a press conference today saying that there is zero concern from Essendon about what happened. It's not an Essendon issue, but he did say what happens on the field stays on the field within the context of community guidelines. So you can't say racist stuff, you can't say homophobic stuff, but what happens on the field stays on the field, which is a contentious position to take, I think.
I don't think it's good to threaten people's lives. I've had death threats before. It's not a very nice feeling. I've had personally people say that stuff to me and it's not nice, even if you think it's really lighthearted and really like it's a heavy thing. So it's not nice.
Yeah, I don't want to conflate my experience with your experience, but I get really annoyed when people say they're like, oh, just don't worry about it. Oh, it's just words. Like, it's not actually. Like it's not normal to have someone be aggressive at you. That's just like a normal thing to have to swallow.
No. It's the story of the week.
It is, and a lot of pressure is being put on the AFL. They will. Mitch Cleary said that they will not be handing down any punishment as of Wednesday night, but the AFL will reopen the case and look into it because there's been a lot of pressure on them that their decision to not punish Rioli was not well received amongst footy media and fans.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a very serious thing and I've got nothing to add.
Yeah.
Like it's a full-on thing.
Yeah, I think we need to see what the AFL do because on surface level, pub test, it feels like, there needs to be some form of punishment. But, we need to find out the whole story, I guess.
Yeah. I was asked on radio today about this, should all this be public or should it just be like worked out with the clubs and especially when it comes to punishments by the AFL. And I think it's just like, it's so hard to answer because it's so case by case because if you look at a lot of people are comparing the GWS costume saga scandal to this where a lot of players were heavily punished. And like, in my opinion, that should be public because they did something that they deserve to be held accountable to. But then if this is involving other players who don't want the public to know, well, their privacy is kind of paramount too.
Yes, correct.
And I've also written with a star next to it, Errol Gordon is running again.
Oh, fantastic.
Yay.
How far off? That's a while
That's
still.
a while, yeah. As of Wednesday, Sydney on the injury list still said 5 to 7 weeks. But
5
he's
to
running.
7 weeks. Yeah. They looked good on the weekend though.
Unfortunately.
Against GWS. They looked really good. Like GWS have lost their mojo, as my opinion, but Sydney, they're starting to get their mojo back.
Yeah, when I say disappointing, it's because they're playing Essendon this week.
Oh yeah, they got the Bloods versus the Bloods.
Did you see? It was reported in The Age this week that the AFL is sending recruiters to America, and they're going to have an AFL draft combine in Texas in June, trying to find the next Mason Cox.
Yeah, they're just going to come back with a truckload of Trump guys, just from Texas, straight from Texas, just gunned up. Why Texas? Just because Mason Cox is from there?
Yeah.
That's one of the most shallow, like, boring things. Like, that's such a AFL thing. We're going to Texas to get... Come on.
In an email from AFL, it included that the long-term goal is to establish a genuine fan base in the American market. But it just feels like, God, how much money are you pumping into this?
Yeah, I'll be curious to know the actual amount.
And we can't even get a fixture.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They go, what if they come back from Texas with a fixture though, Marnie? You don't know.
That's true.
I mean, Americans, like, it'd be hard pressed to go like, well, you can get Josh Giddey is getting $200 million in his next deal from the Chicago Bulls. NFL players getting anywhere between $1 million to millions and millions quarterbacks, and in the AFL you can get AUD, by the way, about $500,000 probably.
Nah, like for a Category B rookie, probably 200.
Even less. But I'm saying if you're really good, like what's Mason Cox on?
Yeah, potentially 400, 500.
So when but that goes down to 250 USD, and then he's taxed on it, and then he's on the Coles, as you would say. Where would he work at Coles? Be like a general manager at Coles?
Yeah, yeah, store manager perhaps, regional manager.
So it's not a appealing thing unless you're Tom. They'll say you can get Tom DeConing money, but
yeah, but you can't. And if you can hit the ball good in baseball, even richer.
Do you know what they should be doing?
What?
If I was trying to expand into America, I'd just be going up to Mr. Ryan Reynolds and saying, whatever you want, whatever team you want, you can just have.
Yeah.
You can own it.
Yeah, or just get the games, a couple of games a week on ESPN and a little show on ESPN with American people.
You want that?
That's the way to do it.
I think you want that Disney Plus doco.
Sure.
Like the amount of Wrexham fans there are now for this shitty little Welsh team.
Wrexham are getting promoted again. Do you see that?
Yeah, they're up.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 seasons, 3 upgrades.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm being selfish, but I don't really want America involved in our game.
It's good for money.
Yeah, I know. And I know that like growth is important, but also I'm like, I like the amount of teams we have with Tasmania.
Imagine though.
I like it.
It is nice. But imagine, right, it's third quarter and then just have some guns. or imagine if we Americify it, like just like instead of like 20-minute unbroken quarters, like there was just 98 ads in it. Wouldn't that be better?
You're giving America a beat in that vest you're wearing.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
we could be ambassadors and bring the game to America. Just think about that. I want to.
They've got, it's funny, right? There's just so many of them. And they stink.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of Tom
No, they're great.
de Koning, I've written it here somewhere.
He talked about his contract today, didn't he?
Yeah. So, as reported, again, by The Age, did a lot of Age reading this week.
Sure.
St Kilda offered Carlton. I'm just going to start again.
We'll start again, but I want to tell you something, right? You're just talking about reading The Age.
Yeah.
Since you worked at The Age,
Yeah.
I've been subscribed to that publication.
Yeah. What
It's
adjective were you gonna say?
$950 a day.
Yeah, I know.
I've got to cancel it.
Oh, I subscribe to the premium service. It's quite expensive.
What's premium? You get crosswords?
Oh, there's certain content that is premium content. So I hate
spicy?
that this is the only example that's coming to my head, but when Caroline Wilson did the interview with Tom Morris when he wanted to get back into the industry,
Yes.
that was done as premium content. So you had to be a premium subscriber to read that.
It's such bullshit, man.
is.
You know, Herald Sun's done the same thing, right? Where they had Herald Sun and you could read the Supercoach articles on Herald Sun, right? Then they started Code Sports, so you can read articles in Code Sport. And everyone was like, why? We have our Herald Sun subscription. They were like, don't worry, articles are going to be on both. They're not now. So now there's Code Sport articles and there's Herald Sun articles and you have to pay for both. It's very stupid.
And I will just say that, like, I do think a free press isn't free. Like, I'm a very strong advocate that people should pay for good journalism.
Well said.
But
Even The Guardian, which is free, it's good to donate to them.
yeah. Don't have to pay for me though.
But I was going to
Taxpayer
say,
funded.
Marnie, how much does the national provider's sports coverage cost?
Just your wages.
Oh, yeah, for all my tax dollars.
Yeah, and we're having to pay because of money working for the ABC. We're obviously having to pay interest on her withheld super as well. So
Well, there you go. What, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, where's my super, Tom? Gimme.
We're getting fleeced. Albo's done it again. I had a gut full of him. Anyway, sorry. Tom de Koning went Carlton
Well, I've
today.
written St Kilda has offered Carlton 1.7 million. So I assume
Tom
that
de
it's
Koning.
supposed to be that St Kilda's put the offer on the table for Tom
Yes.
de Koning
Yes.
of 1.7
and he's gone public
million.
with it.
And the Blues can afford slightly more than $1 million a year, but not anywhere near what St Kilda are offering.
Marnie,
Yeah.
if we offered you to be on this podcast every Wednesday night when we record, 1.7, but then
You were going to withhold my super.
then Dill Buckley goes, hey, Marnie, no, we're going to offer you 1.1. Then Dill Buckley's show with his little haircut and his comes out and says 1.7. What do you do?
I don't know if I can give my genuine answer and get in trouble.
Take the fucking money is the answer. TDK,
I would absolutely not take
be
the answer.
smart, take the
Also,
fucking
because
money.
on their website, they say that they target males, and
That's not you.
that's not me, and that's not who I speak to. And, also
not our
just, like,
audience.
Stop doing that. Like, stop in footy media only targeting men. Stop it.
Oh, yeah, but also we're never going to offer you 1.1. I just want to be really clear on that. That's not me going on the record and saying we're going to give you that. We can give you that. We're in the position to do that, but we
Right,
just don't think it's
sorry.
right. I need some. I got to invest that stuff in crypto.
Which
that's-
we love, by the way.
Crypto, yeah, absolutely. Marnie. So what's the news? He went public today, Carlton.
Yeah, the news is Blues are going to have to, if he stays at Carlton, there's going to be like a loyalty element, and I kind of love that. But it's interesting just watching St Kilda gun hard for all of these players.
They've been turned down many times by
Couldn't get Zachy Merritt.
couldn't get Zach Merritt, couldn't get
Callahan.
Finn O'Callaghan.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was a big
Wonder
turn
how
down of money too.
Finn's feeling now.
Yeah. may as
No,
well
he's
take
a
the
really good
money.
player in GWS.
Would
I
they
think you're gonna-
like Clayton Oliver?
Would you be happy to part with Clayton Oliver?
No, he's not going anywhere. That's my boy. That's my Ranger boy. Hell yeah. Why'd everyone go quiet? For
No, I love Clayton as well. I think he's fantastic, but I'm just thinking if I was him, take the fucking money.
Take them-
Because he took a
He would have to
long-term
take a
deal.
pay cut to leave.
Wow, I thought he took a long-term deal. I see.
Yes, to get out of that contract.
Yeah, right.
Tom, I offer you 1.1 and then Zach and Mish
Yeah.
offer 1.7.
Yeah.
You can only do one.
They don't even pay me currently. I would drop them. I would drop you so fucking quick, cunt. I actually fucking love movies, actually. Like I told you how much I love movies.
What's the best movie you've seen recently?
This man, he's...
Can I guess? I don't think I've seen a movie that isn't a children's movie since before my son was born.
He loves Tractor Tom or whatever, but his favourite movies are June 1 and 2.
Really?
I really liked June 1 a lot. I really loved it. And Tenet.
Oh, okay. I don't hear people speaking positively about Tenet very
No, it's a bad movie, but it's fantastic.
He's trying to be arbitrary, or he's trying to be contrarian.
No, but genuinely, I fucking love that movie. Everyone hates it, but I love it.
He likes the music.
It's got great music.
What other? This is a great news segment. It's fun. It's got a riff to it. I like it. What else is there? And by the way, I'd like to point out Marnie is using her birthday present notebook, which I'm very excited to see, the Bombers notebook.
Yeah, I left my purple one in the office.
No, you don't have to find a reason for it, Marnie.
And I love my Essendon one. I do think it is an interesting topic that Collingwood are managing players. So Jordan De Goey, Scott Pendlebury, Braden Maynard will all be managed.
Not going to Perth.
Because it's interesting with it just being such a long season, watching clubs do this. Like, you've got to be so clever in how you do it. Like, when is Dangerfield going to be rested soon?
Should be.
Who are the old players?
Well, I'll just say that Collingwood are doing this because their list is all 40 plus.
But also they have the depth that they can. Like, if you look at Essendon, like, who can you rest? No one. Sydney don't have a third of their senior side at the moment.
Yeah.
All out with injury. Like, it's such a privilege to be able to rest players.
Exactly. They fought really hard to be in that position.
There's
a luck element.
And here's the obvious thing. Who would ever choose to fly to Perth? By the way, I'll be there next weekend. Can't wait to see you at the Rechabite Northbridge. But who would go to... But I liked what Fly McRae said in his presser. He's like... He framed it really well. Like, it was like wrestling Paul Heyman vibes. He was like, I hope you don't think we're tanking this one. I hope you don't think we're list managing. Like, we're very proud. Freo should be ready for who's coming. Like, they were really trying to pump it up. Like, that. Wait till you see our list is, I think, what he said. Wait till you see what.
Yeah. Well, 5-day turnaround in Perth. I think it makes absolute sense. I saw someone in the media say that they should rest De Goey till finals because he's just that far off. And I was like, okay, out there.
Yeah. All right, then.
Oleg Markov is back in, and obviously I haven't seen him since the premiership in my mind, but I'm sure he's been around.
I like Markov.
Mustache man from Gold Coast.
And I will not have anyone saying that the top 8 already looks set because...
D's aren't in there. We're at correct money, yes.
Round 9. Like, I know when you look at that, there's so many twists and turns for this season to still take. I remind everyone that in round 10 last year, Essendon were in the top 2. And everyone was like, they look like a real finals contender here. Well, how did that pan out? Like, the top 8 is not set.
Let's look at this then.
That's a crazy thing to say.
Top 8, Brisbane, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Geelong, Giants. And then we'll go through the top, like the next 4. Fremantle, St Kilda, Essendon, Port. And then still below that, some names I would like to point out are Carlton, Sydney, Melbourne, of course. Who gets in and who goes out of that top 8?
You miss Richmond, West Coast.
No, I don't
North
believe.
Melbourne.
I believe that they are in a different development.
I think it's too hard to call, but I could definitely see 3 or 4 of them.
I can see Carlton having a run.
Who goes out
I
of
can
this?
see Sydney having a run. I can unfortunately see Melbourne having a run.
Hell
I
yeah.
can see Freo turning it around. Like, Hawthorn lost their first 5 games last season and then made it to a semi.
I also think Port's good enough if they get their shit together to make
True.
it. So
He's been back. I don't believe that.
No, you've been off him since the start of the
Marnie,
year.
this top 8, who goes out? GWS, Geelong, West. Crows.
Oh, yeah.
Suns?
Maybe. Well,
Hawthorn?
who did I have in my top 8? And let's make it that.
There is a website dedicated to this, by the way.
Yeah, who's
Yeah,
winning?
there
Am
is,
I winning? Still?
I haven't had a look in a while, but I think Gold Coast and Adelaide probably fall out. I think Doggies are too good, Geelong are too good, GWS maybe.
Well, it's also about stamina. Like, Gold Coast are quite good, but do they have the stamina to make it until September?
No, I don't think Adelaide do either, as good as they are.
Oh, man, it's an exciting thing. I don't know, actually. When I look at that, I don't know who comes out, but it's an obvious thing. You are right that it happens regularly and every year, that this part of the year, you're like, wow, and then it changes.
Oh, we're done. Time to play finals.
But this time last year, Lions hadn't won yet, as what I remember, which isn't true.
Close.
Yeah. Is that all the news, Marnie?
I've just written a bunch of stuff that around Perth footy because I feel like we do skip over Freo and West Coast a little bit, and my heart does go out to that state and all the fans that we have in that state, because every time I talk to our mate Casey Simons, she's fucking going through it as a West Coast supporter.
Dr. Casey Simons.
Yeah, being 0-8 is a tough spot to be in. And even just like Jake Waterman said on radio a month ago that all of the media being so negative around West Coast takes a bit of my soul away, was his quote. And you can imagine, like, because your heart is in it. Like, we can always be like, yeah, West Coast are bad. But, like, man, that must suck to be in, like, the depths of that. Must be such a slog and must feel so bad.
We all know it. Melbourne's been there. Gold Coast's been there. Essendon are there now.
Yeah, but even just, like, when that happens to, like, a Victorian team, it feels like everyone's talking about them all the time. It feels like everyone's just accepted that West Coast are bad.
Adam Papalia said he had concerns that a generation of West Coast fans are, like, lost to the game.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a bit true, but then also... that they're not above being. I know they're a massive club with $150 million in cash savings, so I don't feel too bad for them. But like, everyone has like North fans. I don't think you'd meet a kid who's 12 and says he goes for North unless he's really locked in. I know Melbourne. The reason our fan base is so devout at points is because there's been so many generations that go through feeling like they're not connected to the game. But then also, right on the other side of it. This is when you find the people who I think are the best football fans are the ones, and people talk about in their partners. It's like, how do I know he'll stick around? He goes for Carlton. Like, it's the people that lock in with that club. I was at drama school and I was becoming an actor, and then I saw this guy, Jim Steins, take the Melbourne Football Club and say, I'm going to fix it. And I was on my wall, and I'm not proud of this anymore, where there was a picture of Jim Steins signed and there was a picture of Jeffrey Rush signed.
Oh.
Jeffrey Rush, I don't back in anymore, but the Steinsy one, I back in.
Yeah.
And him with Gold Coast, it builds Marnie, your team, it builds character. And what I'm excited to see is, for once, someone from Perth with personality. So that's what I'm excited to see. It's a generation of people who came through and maybe don't remember that flag from what feels like, 8 years ago now? 6, 7 years ago. But they're going to be bad for a while, Marnie.
Yeah. But Freo too, unless they turn it around. I think there's a lot of frustrated Freo fans. But
they've got a lot of personality.
Character.
They got so much personality.
Yeah.
Oh. But a lot of cool people.
I'm stopping myself from saying anything about random personalities after the week I've had.
Yeah, it's they are ripe with personality. I'm trying to define a Perth person. I'm going there in a week. I might not. I might do it when I get back.
Are you going to have that steak from the record bar?
Oh my God, they had the dessert bento box.
Yeah,
they had a dessert, and it's going to be me all by myself eating it this time.
Well, you didn't share it with us last time.
Explain
I was
that.
Katoing and
Tell that as a story, Marnie.
You got a dessert bento box and you ate it all yourself.
yeah.
In front of you?
Yes.
Quietly?
Yes.
And I was like not eating any sugar at the time, like at all. And I was just dying.
Yeah.
Remember? I was like, Broden, this
Also,
is so
because
cruel.
my first tour, so I am all up and about, like a lot of energy going on.
Yeah.
Just wanting to play, but no, you just want to eat your bento box and be left alone.
Yeah. Wait, next tour we do you want to go party? Well, I don't know how to party. I'm 36.
No,
I mean,
Well, I think we're doing our next Perth show at the docks, aren't we? In Freo.
well, that's vetoed information.
Yeah, we're going to do the venue down at the docks so we can get fish and chips money.
You got to go.
Oh, I love fish and chips. Actually, the only meal that I think I ate there, I had curry sauce with chips, and the curry sauce was really bad, and I was really upset because
Yeah,
I
that
was
sounds
really
awful.
looking forward to it.
Perth. Yeah.
Tickets on sale soon.
Well,
Really?
no.
As soon as you approve it, Marns, we're ready to go.
Really? You might have to send me the dates again.
That's the news with Marnie. Or is there more?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then let's do a little thing we do.
What about that? Someone in the chat said that there was a couple more hirings at the Tasmania team.
That's
they poached
true.
That Collingwood player.
Fresh off that weird chat I had with Brendan Gale. They have hired their list managers.
Yeah.
And then the list managers for the W team as well.
Oh, fun.
For a football show like this, the names aren't gonna.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why
some
I didn't
dude
bring
from
it up, because
Collingwood.
I was kind of like, do people care about recruiters?
No.
And no offense to recruiters, you obviously are so important and integral to clubs, but I just thought, do our fans want it?
But at the same time, I feel immense anxiety and tension. I'll never say it to Rumman when I talk to him, and I'll never or them, and I'll never say it when I'm talking to Brendan Gale. But This stadium's freaking me out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's freaking me out.
Same.
The former list manager, it's the former Collingwood list manager, Derek Hine, by the way. He's been lured to Tassie and will take the role as the club's first ever head of recruiting. And then the AFLW list manager from Melbourne, Todd Patterson, is also committed to be the first head list manager. He worked with the list team at Melbourne. But they're like the premier of Tassie at the moment's going, we got to get this approved or else it's not happening, and there is no, like, it's coming to a real head right now. So
I didn't know that.
Tense. And I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I want the team to happen. But it's tense. I'm also going down there shortly, so I don't want Jackie Lambie to bash me at the airport.
You see what the roads are like when you go down there, mate.
Oh, here we go. I forgot about you guys, the Tassie people.
Yeah, we're Tassie people.
Did you want to come down again and get the last Jetstar flight out?
No.
All right, great. Shall we do a little thing called tipping?
Tipping. Tipping. Tipping.
Oh, I forgot to mention something.
Please tell us.
Oh, I just think that we should mention Spuds Game and what we're doing because mental health is incredibly important.
Well said, Marnie. Tomorrow we're riding on a bike from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We can choose, by the way, Marnie, this is for mental health. I'm going to get the proper thing to say out, but in the meantime.
We have to cycle for real for an entire hour.
Yeah, but we don't have to go like Cadell Evans shit. We can literally just do like.
I have no cardio.
Well,
That's yeah, but you're just
Is
there
it
as
a tandem
sub-
bike? Can I
you're
just like sit there?
So, Marnie, there's different kinds of bikes we can ride.
Can we ride a tandem bike?
So,
give us money to ride a tandem bike.
We're riding at 8 to 9 at the MCG. We're riding around. I'm going to chuck up some information on the socials about donating and stuff like that. They say, Marnie, wear comfy clothes suitable for cycling.
I'm going to wear my Essendon pajamas.
We'll provide you with an official Spuds Ride t-shirt to wear. Lycra is a choice.
Ooh.
Extra layers if it's a late shift. And there's some lady like Marmalade and Kados are doing like 2 in the morning.
Oh,
I was like, I'm not
hell.
doing that. The bikes, Marnie.
Yeah.
There will be normal push bikes, 2, and a tandem bike on site for you to use. You're welcome to bring your own push bike if you wish. They also have Spuds helmets that you can bring your own.
My feet don't reach the pedals. I assume there's like bikes for AFL players.
For the tandem bike. I mean, do you want to do a tandem bike? I don't.
Okay, then no.
Because I feel I'd do all the work.
You would do all the work, yeah.
aren't
Making
you
me go to
just-
the MCG at 8 p.m. to ride for an hour.
Aren't you just subbing Broden out? Isn't that how it works? You bring a partner because
That's actually
Broden
what
won't be
I
able to
thought,
do
yeah.
it?
So it's like when you're like, I'm too tired to go on, I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
I'll
take
I'll
over.
carry the load.
Yeah.
I
That's
thought you
the
were
whole
just
point.
riding with me.
Nah,
No.
it's because
It's
you
like-
can't ride for an hour.
Yeah, so we
Fucking
have
well can.
Well, prove it.
So I'm just going to listen to my podcast and
Just sit in the darkness in the bush.
yeah.
Get
Now,
some
mate.
great content.
But no, that should be exciting. Keep an eye out for our socials. Thanks for doing it with me, Marnie.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel very strongly about mental health.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing to say. And it's often like, I think in the AFL, particularly, it's used as a, we all care about this. And at some points, some people in the media just turn around to use and don't even think about it when targeting players and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So the more you talk about it, I think it's good to talk about it as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a Melbourne player that was targeted this week
Bang on.
that we should probably just leave alone.
Exactly. Well said. Tipping?
Yeah.
Thursday, tonight, 8:10, Perth, Optus Stadium, Fremantle, Collingwood. Collingwood playing nobody. Fremantle playing their normal team, but at home. Unbeatable. I reckon I'm tipping Freo.
Yeah, I have a feeling an upset could be on the cards, especially if Collingwood are overconfident. But it would be so dumb to tip not Collingwood
Really?
right now. Right?
I think it's really obvious that Freo is going to win. I'm surprised, but that's why I'm the worst at tipping in the world.
I mean-
That's why I get
Bold
2 or 3 every
statement.
week. Yeah.
I said on Monday that Collingwood and Geelong might be, in my opinion, the grand final preview.
You did.
And I think they're very good. And I just think Collingwood win. In fact, I'm tipping Collingwood.
I think Freo win because I don't know if these Collingwood people have ever gotten on a plane, Like, they'll have no idea what they're doing. They'll be like, Perth? What? Perth? Where's Perth?
Yeah, when the bird takes off into the sky, like they'll be like, is this a bus? What is this?
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never done this before.
And when they land, they're like, what is this foreign land?
Yeah, I feel like Freo are so much better at home. Pies don't travel much at all. They're resting a bunch of players. I feel like the recipe there is for a Freo win.
Ironically, Pies travel great.
Yeah.
You just heat them up,
Yeah.
Put them in the car.
Well,
You brought back De Villiers pies, didn't you?
Travelled fantastically.
Yeah.
I rang Dad. I was in Adelaide, and he said, "I'm at Cafe de Ville." He's like, "Bring home some frozen pies." I said, "No." And he said, "Come on." And then I was like, "Oh, I got to buy some frozen pies." I said, "We can't give you frozen pies. We only give you cold pies." I went, "Oh." I was like, "Dad, they're only going to give me cold pies." He said, "I'll risk it. Just bring them over." So I had to get a big box of cold pies, and then I brought them all the way back to Melbourne, and then they were fine, and Dad didn't die. I haven't checked, actually. I should check in if he did. But are you tipping Collingwood or Fremantle money?
Oh, Collingwood.
Yeah, same. I think I can't not tip Collingwood. Too afraid of them. Friday night, MCG. Everyone loves this team in prime time. They're getting prime time every week. St Kilda. At the MCG, St Kilda versus Carlton. A blockbuster and a half. Who are you tipping, Tom?
Well, here's the big question. Which St Kilda's going to show up?
And which Carlton's going to show up?
Because it's not at Marvel, so maybe St Kilda, this is the St Kilda that doesn't show up, because usually they play really, really good at Marvel, even though they've lost horrifically there as well. And I think Carlton are just a little bit better overall. So I think Carlton will win.
Mandy?
I agree that this is incredibly hard to tip because who knows which Saints and which Blues are going to show up. But I'll go St Kilda.
I'm going Carlton.
Okay, why?
Carlton of milk.
He's tipped Carlton every single week, I reckon.
It's because one time they let me do bench presses with their coach, Michael Voss. But I think their list is awesome. That's what I think. And I think they've just the other week got it back into fashion. I think playing Adelaide at Adelaide Oval is a scarier thing than people think. These are my hot takes. And St Kilda.
At all. That's banger.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Adelaide's really tough at home.
It's people go Snowtown, Adelaide, scary place to go, not good. All right, everyone's good on that. Saturday 1:20, I'll be in the air. I'm very upset about this.
Oh, you're not going?
I'm going to Sydney to perform for Marnie's parents at the Factory Theatre, sold out. Melbourne versus Hawthorn. 5% of the AFL community are tipping Melbourne, which is fair. But fun fact, did you say this before, Paddy? Get on mic, Paddy, about the D's. Here he...
It's a long way away. Melbourne haven't lost to Hawthorn in 7 years.
7?
Well, until this weekend.
Correct.
Well, but that's not the time. You, as a Doctor Who fan, you should know that the future has not happened yet, sci-fi.
Time is not fixed.
Time is not fixed.
Time can be rewritten. Sorry, that's what they're saying is time can be rewritten.
Time is not fixed, but my dog's shadow is.
Well, there's some points in time that are fixed.
Go on.
Well, like if someone dies and it's a very pivotal death.
Is that a Doctor Who thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking like literal science, time theory, like.
No.
So if there's like Hitler dying, you can't change that in Doctor Who.
Well, there is an episode called Let's Kill Hitler, but I'm not going to go into the...
What season? What Doctor?
It's with Amy Pond and River Song. Patty's giving me season 7. It's either 6 or 7 in.
Isn't season 7 of Doctor Who like 1971 or something?
No, this is in New Who.
Okay, New Who. Okay, I'm sorry I opened the box. I don't even know any.
Well, actually, the Pandora's box is... Anyway.
Marnie and Patty are banned. Banned from the podcast. No more Doctor Who shit. You should.
The Pandora opens! Sorry.
The Pandora's box or door?
It's called the Pandora Cup, but it's based off Pandora's box, the story.
Which is a parable? Pandora's box? Is it a...
Yes, yeah, it's like anyway, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about how the D's are going to win again.
D's are going to lose. Hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
Why?
Bad team.
Hawthorn good. D's not so good.
I'm tipping D's because you've upset me. But I am happy I'll be in Sydney for this.
Yeah. Good excuse not to watch.
And then Saturday, Twilight Marnie. You going to this?
I am going to this, yeah. It'll be fine.
This is a fun game for you.
No players. We don't have no players. They have no players. No players.
Well, then why don't you all just go down to...
let's just go to the pub instead. We'll just...
Bloods and
pool.
bombs. Blood bombs. I don't know what that means, but that's the game. That's my name for it. Blood bombs. 23% of people are tipping Bombers against the Sydney Swans.
That's wild.
I think Swans at Marvel don't feel like I don't have the stats to back this up. I'm not a hoiny, but that doesn't feel good to me.
I mean, they've had one impressive game in the last few weeks. That was against GWS.
Who have no mojo.
But even just like, okay, so Essendon scraped a win over North Melbourne, and in the process they lost Jade Gresham, Harry Jones, and
we didn't talk about that.
Jordan Ridley. Jordan Ridley's been so
He's your best player
important
for sure.
Harry Jones's ankle we didn't talk about.
Yeah, on purpose.
That was horrific.
Yeah, but he's
awful.
fine.
Is he?
It was dislocation.
It's not a snap.
It's
Yeah, how crazy is that?
I didn't ever see the
like
footage
his
'cause
foot
it was
is
scary.
purple and yellow now.
Let me tell you about it.
Yeah, because he said also, the most distressing thing was like looking down and seeing his foot at not at the angle.
It
it's supposed to be.
literally
So
looked like a
dislocated
classic
didn't snap, but it was a dislocation.
and Fox Footy put it on more than they play bounce once a week, like
awesome.
900 times.
Yep.
And then he's fine.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Good on you, Harry Jones.
Yeah, good on you, Harry Jones.
That footage, you're like,
know.
no.
I'd never watched it because that stuff makes me sick.
I'll get
It
you a
was pretty
DVD.
bad.
I could never be a nurse, even though I would like to be a nurse, but I couldn't.
You
I
want
know.
to be a nurse?
I
I
had
think a nurse would be so rewarding.
ex-partner of mine be like, you'd be such a good nurse. You have such a good bedside manner. I was like, but I am so squeamish.
Yeah. Legit,
Like,
I would do
what
it
are you
if I wasn't so squeamish.
Poo and blood.
Yeah, I think nurses are like amazing. All my experience in hospital, they've all been fantastic.
No, nurses are incredibly
Especially
important.
midwives.
Oh, yeah?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours straight, no breaks, just incredible people.
Daisy Pierce was a midwife.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, incredible
Then had
people.
twins. She was probably like, I got this.
Do you reckon I could be a midwife?
No, Tom, I don't. I think you produce music and podcasts. And for a time stacks dairy. I guess that's like delivering dairy
that's
to
like
a fridge.
Delivering a baby.
It's like a
Similar.
baby.
Same, but different.
Paddy, did you have anything on that? And Sydney at Marvel?
So you know how you thought that Sydney would be average at Marvel?
Oh, here we go.
They've won 7 of their last 8 games.
But what does that tell you?
It tells me that they're going to win.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll tip Sydney.
Yeah.
But would you care if Bombers lost? You seem to go to Bombers wins a lot.
That's true, actually. I went to the Port game and they won. I went to the North game and they won.
It could be who they're playing and when you choose to go.
Yeah.
No.
Are you going Swans?
yeah, Swans.
And you're going.
I'll go Swans. I think Duns will be competitive, but
And they'll be lifted by the spirit of Errol's running again.
Now, here's an interesting one, a really interesting one. TO Stadium, which is Darwin, Suns versus Dogs.
this is just going to be a Suns win. We always win up there. We haven't lost up there ever. Everyone's silly for thinking that Doggies have even a chance up there.
Okay, well, I'm tipping Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, you're crazy, man.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Patty, can you find out if we've ever lost there? Yeah. We might have in like our first couple of seasons, but not for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah, they're incredibly powerful up there. And you know what? There has been so much discourse this week about how good Luke Beveridge is and how good Bulldogs are, and they're the most informed team in the league this week. Or as I said, leak.
Do you know what we did this round last year?
Gist.
We were very bad and we went up and smashed Geelong 166 points. We smashed them by like 100 points.
remember that.
When they were really good and everyone tipped Geelong.
I'm sorry to throw your microphone over there again, Tom, but Paddy has stats.
So they've
Pats,
won
if
their
you will.
last 6 games. They lost their first 2 in Darwin in 2012 and 2020, and they haven't lost there since.
That's an powerful number.
Yeah. And I would normally tip Doggies, but I just feel like it's the Darwin thing. And if we lose, I'll be genuine. That'll be worse to me than losing every game for the rest of the season. I never want us to lose in Darwin again.
Adelaide,
You should go.
Yeah, I'd love to.
not for me. Too hot. Way too hot.
It is hot up there.
But though when I was last up there, I went to the Darwin Bombing Museum.
Okay.
And there was a bit of a museum where it immerses you in it happening, and it's made in 2002, and it feels like really computer generated, like the video clip for Blue by Eiffel 65.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but it's the Japanese bombing Darwin.
Oh my God.
And you're like, what am I at? It's a strange place, is all I mean to say. But do you know what is good news? Showdown Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adelaide people, that we haven't brought it up yet, but that's a show. This is going to be great.
And a staggered time slot as well. Thank God.
8:10. Well, is it actually though?
Yeah, 7:35 for Gold Coast and then 8:10 for it'll be perfect.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, they actually.
Finally, it's like the
Did-
first time
did
all
well.
year.
Crows by 1 million points. 1 billion maybe.
Yeah, but don't weird things happen in showdowns.
And
True.
Porter as good as Adelaide IMO. Adelaide have just been a bit better this year.
Okay.
Yeah, like if it wasn't a showdown, and then I would tip Adelaide. But yeah, I'm going to tip Port.
Well done.
Thanks.
And he's going to tip
I'm
points.
going to tip Port as well. If you look at the form
Crazy.
guide,
Yeah.
right? Port of 3 of their last 5, Adelaide are 2 out of the last 5. So Port's in better form too.
There's less than 0 chance that they win. Just less than 0.
You're so down on Port. It's so funny.
I am.
I mean, I think Adelaide are great too, and they could absolutely win, but I do think Port will get it done.
Sunday, we're on to Sunday. Match of the round. This is the one you gave a love heart, Marnie. It's Marnie's love heart of the game, of the round. Richmond versus West Coast at the G. 3,000 in attendance. Actually, no, you're probably about 30 there because West Coast expats will show up and Richmond show up for a win.
And I just feel like it's very unfair to everyone to be like, oh, well, sign me up to do my hobbies during that time.
Yes.
I can think of a single hobby to use as an example there.
What is a hobby you have?
What is a fishing? I don't like fishing.
You like
dancing?
Dancing, Pilates.
Sorry, I don't know. Patty's losing it at the idea of me fishing.
Yeah, going down the port. Got to get some snapper. Yeah, I'm tipping Richmond.
Yeah, because this is such a winnable game for either of these sides, and that makes it exciting for both sides, and that, whatever.
Harley Reid.
What I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Would Harley Reid, if you're Richmond, would you trade 9 of your first round picks for Harley Reid?
No, I don't think so.
I think Richmond fans would.
I think he's really down on form. Harley's not been good this year.
That's why he needs a change.
Well, I think there was also immense pressure on him. I think who ended up with the rising star? Ollie Dempsey. Ollie Dempsey has had a fantastic season this year, and I love watching him play. But he's managed to do that without the whole media world on him.
Sure, but I still think his price would be at bottom right now.
Bargain, not bargain basement. No, no
absolutely.
way.
When he was picked number 1, he would have gone for more. At the end of last year, he would have gone for more. He'd be going at less. For,
it's an interesting take. It's interesting.
He's just not as good as he looked like he was going to be. And yeah, I agree. If he comes to Richmond, he absolutely could be. But
Paddy's desperate to talk.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. It's the exact same as Dusty. So when Dusty came in his first year, everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's going to be a freak. And then for the next 3 years, he was just okay, because I think it takes that type of player a while to get used to the pace of AFL, and then they turn 25 and then they turn into Lee Matthews. I think the exact same thing will happen. So yes, I will gladly trade 9 first-round picks for Harley Reid.
Wow. Yeah, because they're the only team with 9 first-round picks.
I would trade for him too. My point is that he would just be cheaper right now.
Wow, I'll be interested. I think he's like set at whatever he's at for like first 4 years, and then drops off maybe. GMHBA. Sunday afternoon, Giants Geelong. This is going to be brutal for Giants. I feel bad for Giants.
Well, I would, except for they should be performing better.
Yeah, their mojo is gone.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch.
That's why I'm worried. It's going to be, because usually I'll be like, oh, these. Also, why are you making these guys fly everywhere all the time?
I know it actually is a bit ridiculous. I think that the Giants will be very careful about what they say publicly, but internally they would be very justified to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and also
this is unfair.
Because they'll fly into Tullamarine, they won't go to Avalon. If they go to Avalon, great, but this is a long bus ride too. There's so much this is why it cooks you so far away.
And and it's like obviously like
Penrith.
Disruption to like routine, which is very important for elite athletes, but also just like familiarity of grounds. Like if you're always playing at the MCG, you know that ground so well. Like even just us saying like it's really hard to play Adelaide at Adelaide. Yeah, because Adelaide know that ground so well.
Yeah. And
making them go to all these different places.
It's kind of like, I know when I go to Geelong too, I'm like, I'm not even playing a game and I'm heavily disorientated because there's like so many cotton-ons and so many forward factories, and I'm like, where am I? And it throws me. So I can only imagine for the Giants. Anyone going
Geelong?
Everyone's Giants, yeah?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit closer.
I think, you're right.
93% of people tipping Geelong looks like it's going to be a walkover. I assume it will be a bit closer than that suggests, but I think it would be silly not to tip Geelong.
I think you're very fair there. And then the best stadium of the round for maybe a pretty bad game, Ninja Stadium.
Ninja
Creamy.
Which is the Hobart one, yeah?
Yeah, because we didn't go there, but we heard a lot about it when we were in Tasmania.
Ninja Stadium. Brisbane Lions going down there to inflict some damage on poor old North.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough, but we're all tipping Brisbane, surely.
Yeah, I will be, yeah.
Whew. Well, that's our tipping, folks, done. Thank you so much for joining us for this week. Marnie, great to see you again.
Likewise.
How are you feeling? You're a few weeks into 30?
Oh, yeah.
You happy about it?
Did I tell you that I fell off a tram almost immediately by turning 30 and I rolled my ankle and I had to call Casey to help me home because I couldn't put any weight on it. And I was like, how is this the start of my 30s? And it still hurts a little bit.
Yeah, it never gets better.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like that in my body.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I'm just not nimble and resilient anymore.
You got to start doing yoga with a
Decrepit.
baby.
Yeah.
They
That
just
sounds lovely. Actually, no, it doesn't. That sounds horrific.
I'll show you the videos afterwards. It's not safe for stream, but I'll show you.
yeah.
Thank you.
If you consent to seeing my naked footage.
Have a think about.
Oh, what a promise.
Have a think before. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week. We'll be back on the weekend. Nick Larkey chatting this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. We'll be on a ride tomorrow. Keep an eye out on the socials. Tom, have a good one. Patty, have a good one. Marnie, have a good one. Would you like to bounce us out of here?
Bounce that pill.
Great. Well done.
Very good.
Now everyone's just, why is Broden look old? Why is Broden look old? And it's just like being online hurts, okay? This is how I look, okay? That was a long one.
Yeah, was that all right?
Very
I thought it was good.
Also, I was almost going to mention it in the mental health bit, then I was like, don't. But I also put it in our Slack channel and then no one replied, so I deleted it. So I don't know if anyone's seen it.
Yeah.
Patty saw it. Yeah, someone said
on
that,
Monday.
Yeah, someone's like commented, oh my God, it actually does hurt still. Someone online were like, you're just like so negative and everything you say on the podcast is so negative. And it made me really, really upset. I reckon like probably for like half the day I was just like crying.
Me or they said about you?
Said about me.
Oh.
And so like I was so nervous. And then even when I did the Rioli segment, I was like, oh my God, make it funny. Even though like, I shouldn't.
No, I
matter.
think, do you know what? You just talk about the same things that the majority of SEN talks about every day. I think apart from maybe Pipe, everyone's just negative on.
News is negative. That's what it is. Like it just is.
Yeah, be positive about the death threats people are receiving on the field. Find a positive way, which, you're just talking about the same things that everyone else is talking about, but you're being called out for it, which is a crock of shit.
It's just that it was someone that was like, don't listen to the podcast then. You're not part of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you are good at is engaging with feedback as well, though. You engage much more than I ever do. Tom, you're not an engager, are you? Do you engage?
No, not really. I only get negative feedback as well, and I just ignore it as much as I can.
You don't think that true? You don't think you only get negative feedback, do you?
Yeah, overwhelmingly, yeah. I think so. Nobody, but I know
Everyone
that
loves you.
I know that, but no one bothers to comment that weekly, right? Whereas
I'm gonna comment that weekly.
as soon as anyone's upset about anything, they pop off.
That also does. I've been actually trying to be really conscious of myself not doing that as well, because even just like I don't think this was negative, but when in the episode that I listened to on Monday with the two of you and then with the Mark Howard call, and I was like, I actually think it's because of that. And I was like, well, you didn't tell him good job at any of the parts. You only commented on the thing you wanted to say something
Yeah,
about.
which is totally fine and normal.
I think that's human condition is to, I know it as a performer as well, and Orson Welles famously said that every actor believes everything negative. We are trained to find the problems and fix them and to disregard positive, because positive, why give time to if you're doing something well? That's what we do as a society. But now, Marnie, the feedback on the live stream coming through thick and fast that we love Marns.
Yeah, it's been very overwhelming this week how much everyone's been so lovely to me.
Yeah, no, the big win for the Marn brand, and the Tom brand with the yoga. But just consider with like a little bit of crushed Oreo on it or something like that, a little bit of
Biscoff.
So because you said all the feedback's coming through thick and fast, and the first comment I read is, I will have your baby, Tom.
If I get a womb.
If I get a womb, I will have your baby.
See, that feedback for you, Marnie, is coming through thick and fast. Everyone has to get around Dad this week in the comments. Pogs for Marns.
Yeah, what's happening to Johnny Big?
No update.
What?
Last thing they said was, we'd love to send you down to your local store to kit you out in the latest gear. I said, absolutely, send me to Northies. And then I never heard back.
What?
Yeah, because they rang the Northeast store and then they were murdered. They went, we're just going to go down to Northland now and talk. They were stabbed.
Yeah, potentially. But it's so not necessary either, like, for me to have positive. I understand that 10,000 people listen a week and there's 1 or 2 negative comments every week. It's like, so be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A vocal minority. Yeah. I think that about the Aussie Bro Squad too, the Aussie Bro Squad?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's a boy band. Have a great week. I'm shooting a sketch, which is why I'm dressed like this. I don't want to ruin it, but you will see it. I did a sketch about pooing in a shop this week.
I saw.
It's going well.
And that's another example of no positivity, But it did. We shot it as like this is just one to put up. It's done fucking like 750,000 on TikTok and 750,000 on Instagram.
Yeah, it's funny.
The online community love poo, whether Marty likes it or not. I saw it. I'm familiar with it. I know what you did.
Sorry.
This is going to help me take off this old person makeup. I'm going to have to make Annie peel this shit off my face.
Yeah.
I was in a makeup chair for 4 hours today. For nothing. For fucking nothing.
Yeah, you barely tell. Looks like you need a little Botox. You're going to age gracefully.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks more than a tattoo of Ansett. Anyway.
Yeah, everyone in the office when I walked in, I've been here since 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. We'll also, big congrats to Space Fam, my basketball team, which won its second premiership in a row. We're undefeated. And Josh Giddey played us, actually, and we pumped him. Not really, but we won. All right.
Congratulations.
All right. Chat soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bounce that pill.